Good afternoon, YouTube family and friends. Hope you all had a happy and safe New Year's. Yeah, mine was. Oh my, we'll get into that here in a minute. Today is January 3rd of 2026. How are we in 2026 already? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to start off with my weight. My weight last week was 214. My weight this morning was 211. So I lost three 3 pounds this past week. Oh boy, that puts my total of minus 25 pounds. So I've lost 25 pounds since being back on Mounjaro while dealing with a host of medical issues. So what that makes it, I've lost, let's see, I lost 14 pounds in 6 weeks. I don't know if that's good or bad. All I know is last time I weighed at 211 was back in September of 2023. And my lowest point was at 210. That was the first week of October, or no, the last week of September 2023. And then the week following that, which was the first week of October, I weighed again at 210. And that's the lowest I've ever been able to get down to once I started my journey of weight loss, because I was trying to get better. I was trying to get my diabetes under control. The doctor diagnosed me with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So it wasn't cirrhosis at that time. And so I did back in 2016, I had the geriatric surgery. I had the gastric sleeve done, which is the one that's not too invasive. And I did good on that the first year. See, I started, my highest weight was 326 when I started that journey. And then I had the gastric sleeve done on election day of 2016. So, yeah, that was fun having surgery on the day after the election while they're counting everything. Well, they counted everything the night before, but anyway, I'm not going to get into that. And so, but yeah, the first year I had lost 80, 85 pounds, I believe. Yeah, because I got down in like to 240 something. But then that second year, I couldn't really lose weight again. But I was losing good weight, so I never followed up with the doctor to see where my liver was at. Because I thought, okay, I'm losing weight. My liver should be fine now. No need to keep following up on it. That was a big mistake. But anyway, over the years, I hold steady or gains a little bit of weight, hold steady, gain a little bit more weight. And next thing I knew, I was all the way back up to 305 pounds. So that's when I started my journey again. I first got back on I got on Mounjaro for the first time, and that worked great. I was on that for almost a year, but then the new year started, and my insurance company decided not to cover it anymore. So I had to get off of Mounjaro, and they did cover Ozempic, and I went on Ozempic. Ozempic didn't work for me. I don't know what it is, but Mounjaro worked with my body. Ozempic just wasn't working. So I was like, oh boy. So anyway, I was able to get back on. Maybe I'm going too far in the future because back in 2020, I was I was starting to get some discomfort near my liver, and so it's like I better go back and finally get this liver checked out again. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just higher maybe it's just a little bit more fatty liver disease. Maybe it's pushed into liver, fibrosis, but no, it jumped from non-alcoholic fatty liver into liver cirrhosis. It skipped the fibrosis stage, or maybe it didn't. It was just those few years that I never had it checked up on. So that was my mistake. But anyway, back and forth. I've been on Mounjaro again for 93 weeks, which is roughly almost 2 years, maybe a month or two shy of 2 years. So yeah. Hey, okay, so that's that story. So yeah, lost 3 pounds. I'm down to 211, hoping I can get to my all-time low for my weight loss journey next week. Okay. Now, this week I saw my psychiatrist, and she changed some medicines again because I told her when we lowered down my uh, what was it called? My trazodone, lowered that down to 75 milligrams. I started have trouble falling asleep, and I was waking up more often. So I don't know. I was more stressed. Been really stressed. If you watch last week's video, you can see how stressed I was. And so she decided to have me. She gave me a new prescription for 100 milligrams. So I've started taking 100 milligrams, and she's also upped my lorazepam. I was on just one milligram. No, that's trazodone. Loraza, Loraza, lorazepam. I think I was on 1 milligram. That's in my desk. Now I'm taking 2 milligrams of that. So she upped that. She doubled that. So we'll see how it goes this next week. I'm still just extremely tired all day, every day. I'm more leaning towards this tiredness is because of my GM. So that leads me to what happened New Year's Eve night. If you didn't see my 2 midweek videos that I posted the early mornings of New Year's Day, I think I posted the first one around 1:30 a.m. and then the second one around 3:30 or 4 o'clock a.m. That was been Thursday morning. You'll see those, but I'm just going to abbreviate what happened. The first video I talk about how I was still awake because I was watching all the New Year's stuff, watching the Ryan Seacrest show, Dick Clark's New Year's bash or whatever you call that. And so by 1 o'clock, I had to go to the bathroom. So I got up from bed and started walking to the bathroom, and my legs were so heavy. Now, I could lift them up, but I could barely lift them up. I've never had that type of experience yet since being diagnosed with this generalized myasthenia gravis. That scared me. It's like, oh my God. No, I'm dealing with the shakes and not being I get unbalanced a lot. But, and the tremors. Tremors and shakes are hard to distinguish sometimes. But I'm used to walking around with my legs a little shaky. So, but I've never experienced that before. So now I know what that feels like. So anyway, I done my business in the bathroom, made it back to bed, and I messed on my phone for a while. And I looked just a little bit, and I said, I'm going to record this. I want to start walking and record it to see what I look like. Well, I got up, and when I walked, they weren't as heavy. So, but I still wanted to record myself walking. So I went ahead and set it up and recorded myself out in the hallway, walking to my bedroom door and then walking back to the camera. And the heaviness was really not there, but the imbalance was. You'll be able to see myself stumble a little bit. I had to catch myself a couple of times on that video. So got back to my bed, got that video posted. Then it was about 3:30 in the morning. I still wasn't asleep because I was just thinking about what happened. And so, but then I ended up having to go to the bathroom again. So like, all right, we'll see if my legs are heavy or not. So I went to go stand up from bed, and within a flash, I was on the floor. I don't know what happened. I fell to the right forward. No, more to the right and a little forward. More to the right and a little forward. And I don't got a huge space here. Uh, if you see down here, I got my bed, and then just that this is my nightstand. You got my tall uh, dresser drawer. Now I got my desk. So it's a very small area here. Well, I stand it up. Let's see. Yeah, you can see where the fan's at. That used to be on a tall stand, like a pole. As I got up here, next thing I know, I was falling down and I fell into the fan. The fan top snapped at the base, as you can see there. And it thankfully when I fell against the fan, it snapped. The dresser drawer was there, so I didn't fall any forward. I ended up that kind of bounced me back as I was falling down. So I was like, oh my god, the pole that was still standing up that the fan was on, I could have easily impaled myself if I continued to fall down that way. That thing would have went right through my gut or through my chest or something. That was scary. And then I also gouged a chunk out of my little toe, my right foot, and then my big toe on my left foot was really sore and bruised up a little bit, and it's not fully straight right now. I think it's because of the bruising. So let me show you here if I can. So that's the gouge that it took out. It bled a lot. A lot of blood came out of that. And then on this big toe, you can see the bruise that's right there. And you can see how the big toe is kind of bent a little bit. Usually it's straight like this one. So, and while I'm down here, I'm also worried about something new. 4 weeks ago, I noticed a spot on my big toe. See that? It's asymmetric and it just looks weird. Well, a week after I noticed it, I had already made an appointment I already had an appointment for follow up with my primary doctor. So when I was there, I went ahead and let her know about that. So she took a look at it and she did seem a little concerned. Yeah, it could be just a subungual uh, hematosis, which is just blood under the nail. But it usually doesn't look that way. It could still be, but it could be subungual melanoma, which is not a good type of cancer, and they're fast acting. So what she did is she gave me a little paper ruler so I can measure, how long it is and how wide it is to see if it changes or not. And then in a month, she wants me to let her know how it looks and if it's changed or not. Well, it's been 3 weeks since I saw her, and it hasn't changed. I keep taking pictures of it almost every day, and I got a good phone for pictures, and I can blow up the picture and I can get into it and see it, and it's just so weird looking. It hasn't changed shape. It hasn't changed size. It hasn't moved forward to like where the top of the nail, like it's growing out. Usually, if it's a hematoma, that's the blood that's under there will grow out as the nail is growing. Well, I know toenails grow at a slow rate. Your fingernails grow at a much faster rate than your toenails do. But in 3 weeks, I have had a little bit of nail growth. Not much, but a little. But that spot has not moved. I know that because I measure it from the top of it to the beginning of the white nail portion. So, and I know kind of like same way where it's at on the side part of the nail, and it hasn't changed at all. And also, it's not painful. It's not pressure. It doesn't give me pressure. So, and there's one other thing I forgot, but anyway. So I went on Google. I know my doctor tells me not to, but all that information, it's leaning towards more of melanoma, which is subungual melanoma. So now I'm getting really paranoid about this. One more week, maybe towards the end of next week, I'm going to send a message to my primary doctor and let her know that it hasn't, if it's still the same thing at that time, then I'll message her and let her know either way, what it's doing. If it's still the same thing, no change. Because she said if it doesn't change the way she expects it to change, she's going to refer me most likely to either a dermatologist or podiatrist. And they'll need to look at it to see if it warrants a biopsy on it. So, yeah, I'm so paranoid about that now. Oh boy. So, but yeah, so that's that. As far as the MRI that I'm not able to get due to my Inspire device, I had my follow up with the pulmonologist. That's the doctor who sees all the patients who's had Inspire nerve stimulator implanted in them. That's who you'll see regularly, not your ENT doctor. You'll see a pulmonologist. And so I had my follow up with her yesterday. And I let her know what's going on with my MRI, that I'm not able to get an MRI because the radiology had talked with Inspire and they made sure they had the right restrictions. And the radiology told me because of the Inspire device, I will never be able to have an MRI of my abdomen. Well, Inspire is still saying I can. They are thinking it's just because of the time issue. The Inspire, the battery pack Inspire, you can't have an MRI that lasts longer than 30 minutes. And then you can't have another one. I read that it's both 60 or 90 minutes. But when I was at my appointment yesterday, the pulmonologist, she has her own contact with Inspire since she deals with patients who've had it implanted. And she messaged back and forth with her while I was in the appointment still. And a little bit after my appointment, when I got home, she actually called me and she said that, okay, that her Inspire rep said that I can't have an MRI like I was told. They'll just have to do one at a time because the MRI I was going to get, because the MRI type that I needed for my liver doctor was going to be 90 minutes long because they need to do different things. And I don't know how it's tied out together. But they said all they need to do is do the first 30 minutes, wait 60 minutes, do the next MRI for 30 minutes, wait another 60 minutes, then do another MRI for 30 minutes. So that's 3.5 hours. And I don't know if that's going to work or not. I don't know if they have to, that's why it's 90 minutes all at once because they're connected and they can't wait that in between time. Or I don't know if there's other restrictions. The radiologist never told me what the restrictions are. She just said that I will never be able to have an MRI in my abdomen because of the Inspire device. So I was like, what am I going to do? I did reach out to an attorney for a possible medical malpractice suit against Inspire, and even possibly my ENT doctor and the nurse who kept reassuring me that I can get MRI, no issues. They knew, and the Inspire rep that works with the ENT doctor, they all knew I had liver cirrhosis, and that was my biggest worry of being able to have scans in the future, specifically MRIs, because MRI is the best scan to see what the liver's doing and see what else is going on in my abdomen area for my liver cirrhosis. And they kept reassuring me. So finally I said, okay, I'll do it. So I got it implanted on March 19th of last year. So It's working great. Now, I had the new sleep study done, 2 months ago? And it's doing exactly what it needs to do. So it's working perfectly for me. But now I have to make a choice of getting it taken out, going through that other major surgery to get it removed, which will be a pain, and also surgery for people who have myasthenia gravis. You're more at a risk because going under anesthesia, uh, that can trigger a myasthenic crisis where you have trouble breathing on your own because of the diaphragm. It can happen while during the surgery, but a lot of times it happens in the day or two after surgery. So it's a lot bigger risk for me. Or I can gamble and keep it in and pray that I'll never have a need for an MRI. Because right now, the liver doctor says, based on the blood work, she thinks we're okay without one right now. But there could be a need for it. Most likely there will be a need for it in the future. She could try to get away with just doing a 3D CT scan, but that doesn't show what an MRI could all the MRI could show. So she says, no, I can't guarantee it, but we most likely will have to do an MRI at some point in the future. So, so that's why I contacted the law office. The person I talked to was the person who handles the calls and takes down information. And she asked, I kind of let her know a little of the story, and she says, "Yeah, you might." So she asked if she could record the conversation. So I said yes. So she started asking me some questions, and I answered it. And the questions led into more like my story. So I ended up just telling my whole story and where we are at right now. And she says, "Okay, yeah, you might have a case." So she said she would get sent information, her notes, and voice recording of the phone call, and for the attorney to review. And then at some point, he will reach out to me, or she'll reach back out to me to say if I have a case or not. So, but now, like I said, the Inspire rep told my pulmonologist, yeah, you can have an MRI. They just have to split it out. So I think Monday I'm going to reach back out to the radiology department at at the hospital and tell them what they told me again, saying yes I can. They would just have to break out into 3 different MRIs and ask her, is that possible with the type of MRI that the liver doctor requested? Or can you please tell me what restrictions you have that is causing you to say I can never get an MRI? Can I have those official restrictions that are causing you to say that? So that I can take that back to the Inspire rep. I'll let the pulmonologist know so she can reach back out to her rep since she replied right away. My ENT nurse, it's been month and a half now, and they still haven't contacted me. I contacted her about 3 weeks ago through my chart, no, messaged her because I hadn't heard anything from her, and she replied back, "No, they're still working on it. We'll reach out to you when you have." Well, it's been 3 weeks. I still haven't heard anything. How is that possible when the pulmonology's contact got back to her right away? So I don't know. I don't trust that ENT doctor and nurse anymore. So on Monday, I have what do I have Monday? Oh, I have my doctor's appointment with what do I have? Oh, shoot. Ow, ow. Oh, yeah, when I fell, I hurt my rib cage. Oh, on my left side. Initially, if you go back and watch those 2 videos, on the second video I posted, before I posted this video, I thought it was on the right side. Oh my God. I'm lightheaded. I had to sit back down. Oh, that's another thing that happens to me a lot. I go to stand up from a sitting position, and it's like my eyes start to expand, like start to go blurry, and I get dizzy in my head. Oh my God, I hate when that happens. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, and my legs are shaky. I don't know if you can see that or not, but they're shaky on me. I don't have to go any further. Okay, that's right. Monday morning, I have the follow-up with my neurologist. Oh, let me sit back down. So, yeah. And he doesn't know of what happened on New Year's Eve night. So I'll get him up to date on that and see where we go from there. Like I said, my symptoms are really getting bad. Let me look on this side of the camera, so it's like I'm looking at you, kind of. But no, every time I eat anything, my jaws get sore. Earlier today, I was dealing with the dishes, and my arms hurt just by dealing with the dishes. I went to go vacuum. My arm, I have to keep switching arm to arm because it didn't take much, and my arm started to hurt right up in here. Like I lifted weights, a lot of weights, and I overdid it. That's what it feels like. Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, I had my arms again when I showered this morning, brushed my teeth, dried myself off after the shower, combed my hair, cleaned out my ears. All that made my arms hurt. And of course, in the shower, my legs were shaky. Of course, it's a shower tub, so I don't have much space in there. So when I turn around, I lose more balance. Especially if I turn around in one spot, I lose balance almost all the time on that. So, but anyway, this video is 26 minutes long. So, and I do have another appointment next week on Tuesday. I have my appointment with my therapist, and then the following Monday, the 12th, I have my colonoscopy and endoscopy. Endoscopy. So, but anyway, and then the 14th, Wednesday, I have a follow-up appointment with my psychiatrist. So, all right, that's the update. Sorry for such a long video. If you stay to the end, I appreciate you. Y'all have a great day, and I'll take care of each other, love each other, be good. All right, I love you all. Bye-bye.